Hi there, welcome in. This is where I do all my sewing stuff and my movie stuff and my computer stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff. But for starters, here is my ironing workstation with the board and the iron. And beyond that, I have the first workstation with my sewing machines here, the heavy duty Singer 4432 and also the likewise Singer heavy duty X 5004 serger with some of my tools and supplies there. Moving on down here, underneath this workstation is a bookshelf underneath and to the rear where I have that piece of cloth, green cloth, covering some things on top of the bookshelf and the other books. But this is where I measure out and cut my projects. This project here is the second apron I made, and it's a good apron. I actually really like it. I did a good job on it, if I can blow my own horn a little bit here. And what I'm doing here with it is just making a template so that I can make some more aprons. I'm thinking that I'm going to send them to family and friends for gifts and that kind of thing. Of course, there's my measuring tools, a couple of carpenter squares, and probably do have one or two more. Of course, I need books, so I've got more books. And on top there's some supplies, sewing supplies, some sandpaper and that type of thing as well. When we move on further into this corner, underneath the lamp or behind the lamp, I've got a couple of boxes with supplies. And I've got two other sewing machines. The first one there with the brown-orange spool of thread is a used 4423, and the one behind that with a little cover on it is a new 44S. Those are both heavy-duty machines as well. The orange handled item there is my electric cutter. It's not a rotary cutter, it's like a blade cutter. It's a reciprocating blade cutter. And here we can see the patio doors to my 17th floor balcony, and we can see Park Ave here in downtown Montreal, and on the left we have Mount Royal Park, and on the right of the street we have Park Jean Mance Park. Here is my writing station, and that book right there, top and foremost, is by Winifred Aldrich. It's the 5th edition of the Metric Pattern Cutting for Menswear textbook published by Wiley, and that is what I'm using to learn how to cut patterns and make patterns. There is my 1/3 of a size desk or table. That table is an IKEA table, and it is 42 inches wide and only 16 inches from front to back. So that's pretty much the more organized, tidier side of my work area in my apartment here in downtown Montreal. And as I move to the other side, first thing I see there is a tall bookshelf with a whole bunch of thrifted and used jeans. There's some other cloth in there too, but it's mostly jeans that I got at vintage stores. Really, I mostly got most of those jeans at a couple of Sally Ann thrift stores. Looking down at the low table, the red and green stuff there is construction paper, and those are templates for the legs of jeans, the front legs and the back legs. So they are there as well. Here I have some more supplies piled up in boxes coming off the floor. Getting back onto the table, there's another box, and then there's 3 or 4 machines. There's probably about, I think there's 4 400s, maybe a 501 in there somewhere, and then that I believe is a 1591, something like that. So that's a very busy area. Here we see my tripod, and I have another table which is cluttered, no doubt. There's a green mint colored 341 with a McCall's shirt shorts pattern on top of it. Behind that is the 500J restoration project that I abandoned that about a year ago, almost a year ago. And so it's waiting in the wings. I can't put a timestamp or a date on it, but eventually at some point it is going to be reassembled. And what I'm using as a guide to reassemble it is this 411G, which I'm aiming at right now. And apart from that is just a messy bit of supplies and tools. Of course, there's another bookshelf with lots of books. I do have a couple of measuring tools on there, the yardstick and a metal curve, French curve, and then there's a plastic straight edge on there too. Looking over here, I have, I've got a 401, and then I believe I may have another 411 or something like that beside it. I'm not quite sure. Towards the back there, on that lower shelf, right there between the two machines, is a featherweight 221. And then moving up from there is supplies, cleaners, crud cutter, and grease and oil, an electric cleaner. There's my tan colored 301, and then above that is my two-tone colored 301. And of course I've got some screws and cans of electronic cleaner and all sorts of stuff there. So that's a pretty busy area there. That I don't really use right now, that Rode microphone, boom microphone. I do use it sometimes, but not currently, so it's kind of resting there. There is another smaller bookshelf behind my trash can, and some books on top, that kind of stuff. Looking over in this direction, we're looking at my computer workstation. And so that's where I do some of my writing, but not much anymore. Usually if I'm over here, it's for the computer, which we can see the 30 or 31 inch LG monitor there, which might light up in a second. There we are. Hey, how about that? It says JEBB Adams. To the back there is a couple of, what are those? Those are 306s. And then behind the computer monitor, which we can't really see, is I have a couple of 201s. Scanning to the right is another bookshelf, go figure. And then above that is an old bookshelf that holds a lot of my camera equipment, a lot of lenses and a few cameras. And that's a little bit of a cluttered side too. Down there, back underneath that case is what I call Mint Magic. That is a Singer 319. That's a really nice machine as well. So that gives you an idea of how and where I make my videos and learn my sewing and all that kind of stuff. And not to be concerned, I do clean it out occasionally. I did get a couple of storage lockers downstairs in the building, the complex. So I plan on moving some of the stuff that I don't use out of here. I could see that some of the books will be moved out. I'm going to come up with a pile of books that I want to read. I do read a lot, and I like to write a lot, and I have been writing a lot for about 2.5 months now. There's the beautiful view out my window. I know you can't see much of it, but there it is anyway. And I just wanted to let you know this is the space where I do it. How does this compare to yours? And what do you need in order for you to do your sewing projects? Hope you enjoyed this little visit. Thanks for coming along, and have a great time, and we'll talk soon. As always, if you subscribe or that would certainly be appreciated. But more importantly than that, have fun, stay safe, and we'll chat again real soon. Adios, amigos.